Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Monday, February 6th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown, so if you are someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. First off, a couple clarification points. Number one, the price you see right there will be moving around and changing, and the candlestick you see right there is also moving around and changing. That is because the market is still open for a small amount of time, but I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. And then second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. So stock number one here, HSCS, very explosive move today and setting up a nice pattern as we head into next week. So let's get this pattern here mapped out. So top part of the pattern is just this area right up around $3.90. You can see on a couple different occasions, price got up around that area and just could never build or maintain any kind of momentum. So that'll be the main area of resistance. And then down here, you have a pretty, generally speaking, level of support at the $3 mark. So let me change that to green to represent more so the bullish dynamic of things. And then just to make this all maybe easier to see, let's keep it one color. So we have our resistance, we have our support, you have the big explosive move right there. So what we have here is a bull flag pattern. Now let me be very clear, just because it's a bullish pattern does not mean for sure guaranteed the price is going to move higher, but I don't think that would catch anybody off guard. I don't think anybody would be shocked to see this thing potentially get more continuation next week. So if you like to play patterns, if you like to play stocks down below $5, specifically bull flag patterns, keep an eye on it. Next, GENE, and a very interesting scenario. And the scenario, at least in my mind, is based around, whoops, let's get that out of here. And there we go. Is based around this level right here at $1.70. Why is this level interesting and important, at least in my mind? Because at this point, when the price made a huge move and got that high and then started to come down and drop and drop and drop and drop, at that point, and this will mean a little bit more to those of you that have traded for a while, I'm sure you've seen stocks that act really strong and then they just completely fall apart. So at that point in the story, there is a big question mark of, is this thing just going to absolutely fall apart? But no, it did not. It at least has now started to go sideways. Now, again, and I wish I could say trading was this easy, just because the price has started to go sideways after a pretty big pullback does not mean for sure guaranteed this is the bottom and for sure guaranteed this thing is going to return back upwards. But has it become much more plausible? Absolutely. It becomes a much more plausible thought, not that the price is, given some signs that, okay, yeah, maybe this pullback is over and maybe this thing is getting ready to try to turn itself back around, which brings about the next key level that you got to think a lot of people are going to be watching, and is that resistance trend line right there. So call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want. If the price were to come up here and break through that level, guaranteed no, but plausible to think that break could create additional buying pressure, absolutely. So nice pullback here. The pullback seems to potentially be over with the sideways movement, so let's see if this thing can curl back upwards next week. Next one, MULN, and overall the chart is looking just fine. Now there is some perspective that goes into that. What do I mean by that? Well, if you're a day trader, flipper, scalper, whatever you want to call yourself, and you bought right there and your plan was to buy and sell within 7 minutes, well then from that perspective, the chart looks really bad. However, I get it. Big pullback here. But like I said, from the big picture point of view, where are the lows at? Well, right now we have this seemingly new low here at 40 cents, which is our first update when levels of resistance are broken and closed above. You want to see them act as support. So we'll map out that as a new level, where the price is basically bouncing around right now. But let's do this, even to just play it safe. Let's say the price actually pulls back more and comes down here to this 39-cent mark. Again, big picture perspective, what do you still have if the price were to do that? Well, you'd still have a set of lows there. You'd have lows there, you'd have lows there, you'd have that low down there. And if you envision each one of those as stair steps, again, emphasis on big picture. Well, from the big picture, you still very clearly have stair steps progressing in the upwards direction. And that's what you want to see. Again, I understand if you're a day trader and you bought right there, you don't care about these stair steps. But that's why I'm trying to make the distinction between a day trader and someone that cares more so about the bigger picture point of view. And then just from a pattern perspective, sure, the price did pull back today, but what was going on before that? Well, you had this big move here. So in all actuality, we just have a bull flag pattern. Next, BBAI, very explosive move here. and bit of a pullback occurring this afternoon. So in my mind, this one right now becomes more of a work at this thing, potentially find some buyers on a pullback. And that sits right there at $4.50. A very interesting level. Classic example of this former area of resistance, then acting as support, which you can see the price bounce over right there. And this is why I like to do these when the video is open, because check it out. As I speak, this thing continues to drop further and further. Is it going to go down below $5? Yes, it does. There it go very quickly, actually. So a lot of volatility this afternoon. But yeah, if this pullback continues, then in my mind, $4.50 becomes a very interesting level of a potential bounce point. If it does turn back around, then pretty straightforward right now. Generally speaking, right up there around the $5.50 mark is going to be that main area of resistance. But given the action that, as we witness it right now, seemingly the more pressing question right now is how deep is this pullback going to get? And if it does go down to $4.50, can that produce the bounce like it did previously? So we'll see what happens. Next one, AMC. And as has been the theme, all about perspective here, because depending on your perspective is going to depend on how you view this thing. So yes, individually today, not a great day. Price made a move up, got all the way up there. So if you bought right there as a day trader or scalper and you wanted to buy and sell within 20 minutes, well then yes, right now the chart looks terrible because there has been a very large pullback. But you've heard me say this before. Okay, yeah, sure there's been a pullback, but where are the lows at compared to previous ones? Well, this green line here, which I talked about previously, hasn't even been tested. But let's see it goes down there and test that level. Well, you have a set of lows there. You have a set of lows there. You have a set of lows there. You have a set of lows, way down even further. So overall, though, and we'll just look at this, little reference point, you still have stair steps progressing in the upwards direction. So again, even with a pullback, things are still perfectly fine. And to zoom back in here, you can see that's where the red line came into play from back at that point right there. And the red line, yeah, it was broken today, which you can see right there. But as far as maintaining the breakout, the bulls just were not quite strong enough, and the price then fell back below it. So 650 remains that key area of resistance moving forward. But again, depending on your perspective, is going to depend on is going to determine how you view this chart. Real quick, wanted to take a break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online training that I'm offering next week. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to manage risk, to build consistency, then certainly get signed up for the free live training. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description box. If you're watching at my site, there's an area right there on the webpage that you can click to get signed up. So like I said, if you've been enjoying, then definitely get signed up for the free class. Next one here, SOUN, and an absolutely beautiful, beautiful pattern. I make no claims that I have a special talent or special skill. This is not a great discovery. And I say all that because a lot of people are watching that or watching the same exact thing. And when a lot of people are watching the same exact thing and wondering the same exact things, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want, it can produce some very dynamic movement. So we have the top part of that pattern up there at $3. We have this bottom area right here as support. So again, let me change that to green to represent more so the support, bullish dynamic of things. And then to make it all the same color, resistance, support, nice upwards move there. Let's put our golf hole down here, and this would be known as a bull pennant pattern. So if you like bull pennants, if you like stocks down below $5, here you go. And to reiterate, no guarantees, but plausible to think that if the price comes up here and self-fulfilling prophecy or what have you, that break right there of $3 creates that much more upside buying pressure, that's certainly a plausible outcome. Next, BGXX, and I like this one. Nice little pattern here that's forming. And a pattern that I don't talk about too much with these watch lists, but it is still a quality pattern. So there's the bottom part of the pattern, which is formed by this trend line, which, again, let me change to green to represent more so the bullish attribute of things. And then we have the top part of this pattern right up here at $1.50. And maybe some would disagree, but I don't think they disagree with much, but I would consider this an ascending triangle pattern. And the nice thing about this ascending triangle pattern is it still is all occurring within a genuine uptrend, and that uptrend being defined as the fact that you have the 50-period moving average, that purple line, sloping upwards. You have the 200-period, that pink line with a slight slope or upward slope to it. And you can see, and you don't even really need to use these. You just look back here and you see there was this massive explosion, and now it's just coming down here and starting to consolidate out, which brings about the question, can this eventually get to the point where it breaks up through that level? So if you like ascending triangles, keep an eye on it. Next one here, TSLA Tesla, and talked about this one in yesterday's video, and that's where all these lines are coming from. And absolutely bonkers opening 30 minutes, thing gap down, and then a huge green candle out of the opening gates, went all the way up there, and is now not giving back all those gains, but has rolled over quite a bit. But all these lines here are just, they played a role today, but now they're just kind of, I think, creating clutter more than anything else, because now that we have more data, it seems as though definitely the key level of resistance now to watch is going to be that trend line right there. You can see, actually, I'm curious. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 5 times the price got up around that trend line today and could never quite push through it. So in my mind, that leads me to believe that if there is any sort of attempted turnaround, that's going to be a very big question mark point in terms of, is this history going to repeat itself again, or what's going to go on? But in my mind, that trend line is going to be very important. And, not a great discovery. I'm guessing that a lot of other people are probably going to be watching that same exact dynamic. As far as levels of support are concerned, right there at the 188 mark, in my mind, seems pretty logical to watch, because if the price can't break through there, then you could very well get the price coming down to at least retest those lows again, down around the 183.50 mark. So a couple different scenarios here that could potentially be mapped out. However, with the way Tesla's been trading, I don't think anybody would be shocked if this thing gapped up and then just blasted up through that trend line, because it seems like all Tesla is doing right now is going up. Whether or not that continues into next week, let's see what happens. Next one here, AAPL Apple, and I'm going to go very quickly through this one because you've already heard it all. The difference here is really just price range. All those other stocks and patterns we had were penny stocks and stocks down below $5 or $10. But this one, we have ourselves another very nice bull pennant pattern. So we have the level of resistance. We have the support right there at 154. Just because I can't help myself, let's just make it green. And then again, just to keep us all on the same page, keep the same color, resistance, support, explosive move right there, golf hole down here, have yourselves another bull pennant pattern. So if you like bull pennants, but you just prefer higher price stocks, maybe you trade options, then here you go. Next, TQQQ, which is an ETF that measures the NASDAQ. So if you think that the NASDAQ market as a whole is going to rise, this one will also rise. Biggest difference is it just allows you access at a much lower price point, which makes it very, very popular. And right now we have an interesting dynamic here going on as the price is pulled back to this green line, which I talked about previously. But now that we have more data, I'm going to go ahead and make a little adjustment, because it seems as though, like I said, with the more data, the more accurate level of support down here right around $25.25, which was basically, generally speaking, where the price bounced off both these times. So there's got to be a bunch of people, myself included, wondering, okay, is this a double bottom right here? Has this pulled back been enough? And is this going to double bottom back up to those areas of resistance and potentially get a breakout? A more than valid question to be asking, because you have reason to believe that. Now, that doesn't mean that it's going to happen. The price could come down through there. So you know that you're going to have bearish and shorts watching this level thinking, well, if the price comes down there, I want to pick up puts, or I want to go, short or what have you. So the common denominator here is that 25.25 is a very important level. And there's going to be people from both sides, bulls and bears, watching that level and forming trade plans around it. So definitely keep a close eye on it. If there is any sort of break to the downside, the next level to watch is going to be that purple line there, the 50 period moving average, right now valid at, we'll just call it 24.70. But if the double bottom does play out, then as I kind of already alluded to, up there at the 27.40 mark will be that next overarching area of resistance. But yes, in my mind, 25.25 is going to be the level that everybody and their brother's uncle is talking about going into next week. So that wraps up the top 10. Again, if you like what you saw here, then I want you to get signed up for the free live class. Like I said, it'll be next week, Thursday, February 9th. At 7 p.m. Eastern time, so definitely go get signed up. If you enjoy these live trade top 10 videos, I do offer live trade videos too, by the way. Just check out the channel. You can see me trading live. But if you enjoy these top 10 videos, then do 2 things for me. Hit that like button, leave a simple comment below. Those 2 things communicate to me that you are enjoying, and as long as I know that you as viewers and subscribers are enjoying, I will continue to put in the required time and effort to get this content out to you. So like I said, all I ask is hit the like button, leave a comment, say hi, tell me what you traded today, tell me what you're watching next week. So get signed up for that class, hit the like button, leave a comment below. Thanks for watching. Have a great weekend.